Universal's worst kept secret has finally been confirmed as they officially announced that Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift is going to be the replacement coaster for Rip Ride Rockit, opening sometime in 2027.
And what does that mean for the old Fast and Furious ride? We're going to talk about that and all the changes in today's video.
Now, I call this the worst kept secret because I think everybody in their heart of hearts knew that this was going to be the coaster that was replacing Rip Ride Rockit. A lot of people were holding out hope for like Ghostbusters or Back to the Future, kind of wearing this in a little bit of mourning, but deep down we all knew what was going to come here.
So here's the official press release from this morning. It says, replacing the former Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit roller coaster, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift will put guests in the driver's seat of a high-speed thrill of Universal Pictures' Fast and the Furious universe like never before. Riders will experience the exhilarating sensation of 360 degrees drifting as they speed through jaw-dropping maneuvers, including a 170-foot vertical spike that will send riders nearly 17 stories in the air over the outskirts of Universal City Walk.
I said just a minute ago that this was the worst kept secret, and that's because they're building this exact roller coaster out at Universal Studios Hollywood. And a lot of people thought they would like rename it to like Orlando Drift or whatever. A lot of people talking online about the name and saying, why is Hollywood in the name if it's in the New York section of the park? I like to remind you that Rip Ride Rockit's official name was Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, and nobody cared then. So it's just semantics. I don't think that's anything you need to be worrying about. But it's officially confirmed. A lot of people expected this, and to be honest with you, I was also expecting it. Did I hold out hope for Ghostbusters or Back to the Future? Of course. But did I think this is what was really gonna come? Yeah. And they did change the construction walls over here, but a lot of the reason why people thought it might be Back to the Future or Ghostbusters or something like that were because of things like this. A Battle of the Bands audition. This is obviously an Easter egg for Back to the Future and Marty McFly. And now there's a brand new black construction wall that goes across the little walkway over here towards the location of the tribute store. This used to be a green wall, and I think it was a little bit up further. Like, wasn't the wall kind of coming out to like in this area? But regardless, it had all of these little posters on it, and people started to speculate. I haven't been here in about a week, so I don't know when that wall went down and this one went up, but was Universal just messing with us the whole time? Another reason people thought that it wouldn't be Fast and the Furious is because right behind me is the old Ghostbusters firehouse, and obviously Rip Ride Rockit came roaring through the firehouse. There were signs on this wall that talked about a refurbishment of the firehouse. So people thought, are we gonna be getting a Ghostbusters attraction? And then they started adding more things like Back to the Future, Blues Brothers. Got a little bit convoluted, but ultimately at the end of the day, they're going with what they're already building in Hollywood, and that's Fast and the Furious.
So I don't even know if I've ever seen any of the Fast and Furious movies. That wasn't really like my thing. I really am not like a huge fan of that franchise. I am excited for the roller coaster in the sense that I think it's gonna be pretty cool. The fact that like the cars rotate and it sounds like it's gonna be really fun. I do kind of wish that it was themed to something different that I'm like more into. Like it would have been really cool if it was Ghostbusters or Back to the Future, but I am still excited for it. I think it is gonna be a fun roller coaster.
Yeah, like Alex said, I'm excited for the coaster itself. It looks like it's a fun ride, but to be honest with you, I'm definitely disappointed that it's going to be Fast and the Furious. There is a silver lining to that, and that is that Fast and the Furious Supercharged, which is the ride over in the San Francisco section of the park today, is going to be closing in 2027. They haven't said when that's going to be, but that's the only silver lining in this. I really don't care about Fast and the Furious. I know it makes millions and millions at the box office, but I feel like it's kind of a little dated and it's just not as big as it used to be, especially here in America. Obviously the revenue from the movies like say otherwise. I do wish it was something else, but I have a really interesting idea and something cool that I haven't really seen anybody else mention before about what I want to see replace Supercharged.
The only thing about Fast and the Furious that I enjoy or that I would like to see is Ludacris.
Is Ludacris going to be a part of the new ride?
Is he going to like come here to like open the roller coaster? If so, I'll be here.
By the way, it is chilly. It's like, I don't know, probably in the high 50s right now, which if you're from like the Northeast or the Midwest, you're probably like, that's not cold at all. It's cold for Florida. This morning it was like high 30s, not even 40 degrees when I woke up this morning. too dang cold for over here. Hey, Fast and the Furious Supercharged, count your days. Your days are officially numbered, closing in 2027. We don't need 2 Fast and the Furious attractions in the park, so I'm glad that they did announce that this is gonna be closing. We don't know when that's gonna be just yet, but it will be sometime next year. I can't even tell you the last time I went on this attraction. The only time we're really in this building or this close to this building is when we queue up for an HHN house, which is back this way. But I have not been on Supercharged in years. Okay, so obviously this is going away. Do you have like anything in mind as far as like what you want to see replace this?
So, theming wise or ride wise?
Both, either or.
So theming wise, I love all of the classics. So I would love for them to bring back like a Ghostbusters or like Back to the Future or Jaws or something like that. I just love all the classic Universal movies. And then as far as rides, I definitely don't want a screen ride. I feel like Universal is big on that, and there is so many of those rides already. I think that they really could use a dark ride here. You know, they do roller coasters really well, and the screen rides are just like, there's too many of them.
Especially here.
Especially here, yeah. So I feel like a dark ride would be really, really cool here.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of dark rides to replace Supercharged, I have a really interesting idea. So here is my idea. And if you think it's cool, you want to steal it, go ahead. I haven't seen anybody else mention this before, but Alex mentioned like a ride that incorporates the old Universal movies or like the nostalgic movies that we all know and love, like Back to the Future, and a dark ride. And I was thinking, how perfect would it be for Universal to like capitalize on this like nostalgia hype that's been going on over the last few years for things like Jaws, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, all the classics, and do a great movie ride of sorts, but based around all of the classic Universal films. They have so many things that they can pull from outside of like Jaws and Back to the Future and Ghostbusters. The Universal like catalog goes so deep. And obviously people loved the Great Movie Ride over at Disney. I certainly did. It was one of my favorite attractions of all time. And it would be amazing if they incorporated that, because if they do just a Back to the Future ride, you're gonna have Ghostbuster fans who are gonna be like, well, what about the Ghostbusters? We gotta get them back into it. If you do Ghostbusters, the Back to the Future fans are gonna be like, well, what about us? So this is a way that like checks all the boxes of all of the different fandoms and the different movies that they can incorporate. Now, I am no, creative team member. I have no idea what the logistics of the building are or anything like that. So I don't even know if in this space, if something like that is possible, but that's not my job to figure out. I'm here to just be a fan and like give you the ideas that come to the top of my head. But I would love to see a great movie ride that incorporates the history of Universal Pictures. It would make so many people happy. A dark ride would be amazing with like animatronics. Could you imagine like a modern Universal dark ride with the technology that they have now from like Monsters Unchained and things like that? It would be incredible. So Universal, if you happen to be listening, which I'm sure you're not, that is what I would love to see. And then I have a feeling other people might like that as well. But let me know down in the comments what you think about a replacement for Fast and the Furious Supercharged. Got your eyes on one of those jacket potatoes?
I always forget that those are there, but they sound really good. You know what that reminds me of? When we were in Dollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Remember we had the loaded baked potatoes?
Yeah.
Those were good.
I've heard these are really good. I've never had it though. One of the snacks or like little meals at Universal that I've never had.
One of these days, I think we're gonna have to get one.
Yeah. Something else that has been like floated around as a replacement, now none of this is like confirmed by any means, this is just like ideas that people have online, would be a night bus attraction. But in order to do that, they would have to expand Diagon Alley pretty far down, and not only would that like take up a lot of space, it would also be interesting and like kind of mess things up for Halloween Horror Nights, because you can't do anything HHN related in the realm of the Wizarding World. Obviously they do the Death Eaters, but that's not an HHN thing. That's not super scary. So I don't think that's gonna happen. Also, that would probably be like a screen-based attraction, and I'm over the predominantly screen-based attractions. So I wouldn't wanna see a night bus attraction. I'm hoping for my idea.
I am still surprised they haven't closed yet is Men in Black. I think like nobody really knows Men in Black anymore. It's not really hyped like it used to be. And don't get me wrong, I think that was a great franchise. Like I love Men in Black, but it's just like, I feel like it's so old now. Like kids don't know what Men in Black is. So I think they should redo it. I feel like it should be the same ride, but retheme it to Ghostbusters, where you're like shooting for,
a great idea.
For the ghosts and stuff. I feel like a lot of people know Ghostbusters still. I know that's an old movie as well, but people love Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is way more
classic.
predominant in like pop culture than Men in Black ever was.
Yeah, I feel like it's a classic. Kids still know Ghostbusters. But yeah, I feel like they just need a retheming.
They still got a whole bunch of Ghostbusters stuff. They still have a lot of Ghostbusters merch in the park. It's been featured at HHN a couple of times now. I don't know. I think it's time we get either a standalone attraction or incorporate them into something like Universal's version of a movie ride. Like when we talk about Universal Studios Florida and the history of the park, look at all of these iconic things on here. You have Kong, Confrontation, E.T., Earthquake, Jaws, Frankenstein, Back to the Future. It is set up for them to take advantage of this nostalgia and turn it into one ride with everything. I think this is the most amount of people I've seen playing the games in Springfield in my life. Got some work going on the little stand over here in Central Park. You could see them on the roof. Universal's in this like unique position because there's been such like a resurgence in like nostalgia for what used to be here. And if there's one thing that Universal is good at, it's listening to what the people want.
Yeah.
So just because Fast and the Furious is what's replacing Rip Ride Rocket doesn't mean we're not going to get like touches of those nostalgia based attractions elsewhere. Like I would be surprised if we never saw Back to the Future or Ghostbusters or whatever in the park again. But that's just me.
And you can see that by them doing that parade last summer. Like
it was
with
such a hit.
With all the throwbacks. People loved that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Universal does a good job of listening to the fans. So
And that's why I think that like great movie ride concept would be so good for Universal, because like to do a standalone Back to the Future attraction, I love that. And it's still super popular, but all the characters, like the actors and actresses, like they've all kind of aged out of the roles. Michael J. Fox isn't in the greatest of health, so like you're not going to get these people back to do anything for the rides, like in terms of like pre-shows or like videos or anything like that, because the movie's like 40 plus years old at this point. So I feel like if they did something that was like a great movie ride with animatronics, it fits the need, and you could just do so many different movies. Like I don't know why they haven't done this already.
And I feel like
I had like such an epiphany while at the park today and be like, this is what they need to do in the future.
And I feel like a dark ride is just so needed in this park. Like especially
there's not a lot that kids can go on.
Especially something that kids can go on. That's what I was gonna say, because like there's really not anything besides E.T. and what else?
Like all the DreamWorks stuff.
Oh yeah, like the Minions rides.
Yeah,
but
everything
but
else has like a height requirement.
I feel like that's just so needed here, and I feel like I would be really excited for something like that.
And I don't know, maybe this is a little like tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist talk coming out right now, but I feel like for Universal to put that much emphasis in their mega movie parade on the movies of years past, like stuff that's 30, 40 plus years old, maybe that was like a little bit of a test to see like, okay, here's a little taste of nostalgia. What do the fans actually want? Do they like this parade? Are they coming out and seeing it every single day? Do they care when like Marty McFly and Doc Brown and the DeLorean and Jurassic Park comes around? Do they want to see that? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes, because that parade is a 10 out of 10 fantastic. So maybe that was like a little bit of a stress test to see how interested their fans and guests would be if they were to revisit some of these things. But I just feel like the Universal park goer and the Universal fan is so different than like the Disney theme park fan. Like they wouldn't view it as taking a step backwards. They would view it as Universal really listening to what the fans want and delivering on that. We were walking through Central Park and this massive stage is here, and we were like, what the heck is this for? but I totally forgot. Rock the Universe.
Speaking of concerts, were you a little bit disappointed with the Mardi Gras lineup this year? Because I was.
I was, yeah.
And I was like so excited because they usually have some really good people. But this
there's
year
a couple
it was,
good ones, but just
yeah.
I feel like years past were better.
Like years past, I would have like a list of people like, oh, we got to go to like this one, and this one, and this year I was just like, eh. Like I was kind of surprised there wasn't like that many great people that I was excited about.
Popped over in the 5 and Dime just to see if they had anything new, and noticing all of this Birds merchandise. This is all Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. They have like a really heavyweight button-up shirt. They have like a water bottle here as well. This t-shirt, and Hitchcock's another one that they can incorporate into a movie ride if they ever decide to do it. You have a Birds umbrella, a Birds bucket hat. It looks like this is reversible, right? Let's see. Yep, that's reversible. Some more shirts down here. You have like a long sleeve t-shirt, but yeah. Hitchcock would be someone else that you could throw in that ride. He actually used to have an attraction here at Universal back in the day. All right, if you saw our last video from Universal, we unboxed one of these little Universe minifigures. They're all kind of horror-based. You got Frankenstein, the Bride, Jack, and Chance. We ended up getting Chance. And then there's also Scarecrow from the Scarecrow house and Chucky. So we're gonna unbox this one. I unboxed the last one, so it's time for Alex to do this one.
Okay.
We're hoping for, obviously, no Chance and no Chucky.
It's not the same one.
Not the same one?
Nah, I can feel it. I can feel it. She doesn't have the hair.
Okay, well that's good.
So.
Not a dupe.
Yeah.
Jack?
No. But one of the.
Oh, nice. One of the chase ones.
One of the chasers.
Oh, heck yeah. Look at that. It's the Bride of Frankenstein right there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy with that.
It was one of the chasers, yeah.
Wow.
So this says, it comes with like a little card too. It says, Bride of Frankenstein, using an artificially grown brain and parts from the recently deceased, the monster's mate was created as a counterpart for Frankenstein's monster.
Hey, that's a pretty good pull. If you know anything about collecting, pulling a chase in the wild is not easy to do. So that's gonna do it for our trip out to Universal here today. I'm excited for the future. Like I said, I do wish that the Fast and the Furious coaster was themed to a different property. I'm just not a Fast and the Furious fan.
Me too.
But I'm excited to see what they do with Supercharged and what comes there down the road.
I know, me too. I'm very excited. I don't know when it's going to be announced or when they're going to say anything about it, but we will obviously keep you guys updated. It's going to be awesome to see this coaster go up over the next year.
It's going to go up quick.
I know. They said it's opening next year, so it'll be really cool to see it being built. So every time we're here, we'll show you guys some of the progress, and yeah, I'm excited to see what they announce for the future.
Yeah, me too. And as far as the construction of this coaster, Universal is famous for under-promising and over-delivering. So by the looks of it, I mean, it's probably going to be early 2027,
yeah,
I would guess. So
yeah.
We'll see. We'll be out here many, many times between now and then. Check out on the construction and see what's going on. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss out on all of our future Universal videos to come. And with that being said, we'll see you guys real soon.